A few days ago, I did a review of this cotton top paper from Ohuhu. And the principle of the paper is it's got a cotton top, bizarrely enough, and the base is wood pulp. So you get all the benefits of a good quality cotton watercolour paper, but at a lower price point. And after that review, I had 3 questions. And they were, first, people said, oh, I like the look of that, but it's out of stock in the UK. And yes, I'm afraid it is. So I emailed Ohuhu and they say it will be back in stock mid-May. It is in stock in the US. Second question was, is it vegetarian friendly? Is it vegan friendly? And I usually ask that question. Totally forgot this time, so sorry. But I also asked Ohuhu, and yes, indeed, it is vegan friendly because some watercolour papers are sized with animal gelatin. This is not. The third question was, yeah, I always paint on both sides of my paper, so what's the other side like? And to be honest, I hadn't thought of trying the other side because the very principle of this paper is that it's a cotton top. It is a one-sided paper. But I like questions, so join me and I'm going to just very quickly repeat the exercises that I did on the front, the cotton side. I'll repeat those on the back, the cellulose side, and see whether it's usable. My name's Liz Chaderton. I'm a watercolour artist based in Berkshire. Every week I share tips and tricks that I wish I'd known about ages ago. If you haven't seen the full review of this cotton top paper, I'll link it below. This is just a follow-up to those questions. This is what I did on the cotton side, so let's put the wood through its paces. Luckily, I have not cleared away the paints that I used for this, so let's give it a go. Let's kick off with our flat wash here, and I've got mixed up a puddle of fairly dilute, make sure I've got enough alizarin, nice big brush, and I will aim to get as flat a wash as possible. So I've got my board at an angle and just doing some overlapping strokes. When I'm happy, take off any excess, lay it flat to dry. While that's drying, let's look at a bit of glazing over here. So if I do, say, a stripe of yellow, this stripe is Pyrrole orange, we'll let those dry and do a stripe over the top to look at the glazing. While those are drying nice and naturally, let's do some wetting them in wet. So on the other side of this paper, I wet the paper and then I started dropping in colours to see how it moved through the surface and how long it stayed workable for, what sort of colour shift we got. So this is spreading nicely. Look, that's Quin Lilac, which is a very lively one on the surface. That was the alizarin that I used. Get some of that Pyrrole orange there. And they are moving through the water nicely. We're getting lovely feathery edges, which I really enjoy. One of my favourite things about watercolour is the lovely sort of soft fuzzy edges you can get. It feels rougher this side. It just feels a bit different from the other side when you're painting. What I did with the other one was sprinkle in a little bit of salt to see how that moved on the surface. And I also scrunched up just a little bit, well, it was literally the plastic wrap that I'd taken off the pad of paper and scrunched that into the wash to see how that moved. I'll let these dry naturally. I'm not intending of repeating the final bit, which was the mixed media practice. But what I will do is come back and try lifting and glazing and see what this does. Right, these stripes are dry enough to glaze over, so let's just see what that looks like. And when you're glazing, you're looking to see whether the bottom layer reactivates or whether the paper really grips onto it nicely so you can put layer on layer on. you're looking to see whether the colours muddy up or glow through, because sometimes we want to build up colour and tone through this sort of glazing technique. So I think that could be quite interesting. Right, I think that's all dry. This is probably going to be a bit damp because it's had the plastic on top. Let's remove the tape and we'll have a little look. So the flat wash, I did get a bit of background here. That might be my incompetence, but it went on okay. The glazing here, again, the bottom layers seem to have stayed in place and not been muddied up, showing that the paper's got a bit of grip to it. We can definitely see that addition of colours. This is probably just about dry enough. We've got some movement of the pigment from the salt. We have some marks from that plastic wrap. What I do want to use is some magic eraser and see, one, whether it lifts, because this is alizarin, so that's a very staining colour, and two, whether it damages the surface, which is what I'm expecting because this is cellulose. So I've dampened it, taken off the excess, and I'm just going to see how much I can lift. Well, it's hardly lifting, so it really has sunk in, which means probably that glazing will work very well, but if you like lifting, you may struggle. And actually the surface is not pilling, as far as I can see, badly at all, which surprises me. I mean, that's good. It's just this stuff is rough and it does start to fuzz up the surface if you go backwards and forwards. You damage it. It's almost like a very fine sandpaper. The final thing to do is to try and compare this side with the other. Are those colours brighter and clearer? Obviously quite tricky to tell. My perception is this side hasn't quite got as much glow to it. So the paint has gone on fine. It didn't stay workable as long as the other side, again, is my perception. Maybe that's my expectation. But as I say, I don't feel there's quite such a sparkle to it. So my conclusion, yes, you can use the back side of this if you want to, and it behaves perfectly decently, but bizarrely enough, the cotton side is better. And given that the point is to get the benefits of cotton paper, but at the price point, the lower price point of a wood pulp paper, I'm not sure why you would want to use the other side. So if you're the sort of artist that always uses both sides of your paper, this just isn't for you. If you want to get the benefits of that sort of glow and clarity that you get with that cotton paper, then just remember which side is which when you take it off the pad.